Trishna, if you follow Siena basketball, you know Troy native Javion Ogunyemi is having a career year on the basketball court. But what you might not know is Ogunyemi has had more happen to him off the court in the last 4 years than most of us deal with in a lifetime. Now, recently, Javion took me back to Troy to show and tell me how he's managed to stay on the right path.
It was just tough because I just felt like I just couldn't get a break.
You can see a person's physical strength by simply looking at their physique. But what you can't see is what drives someone internally to keep pushing forward. Siena men's basketball player Javion Ogunyemi is a prime example.
My mother, she was my motivation, and I know she wouldn't want me to be down here moping around.
So instead of moping around, Ogunyemi's focusing on school and basketball. Javion's journey began in this 2nd Street apartment in Troy with his mother, Thomasina. As a single mom, he says she worked twice as hard to make sure he stayed out of trouble.
She always wanted to know where I was at, what I was doing.
But he also remembers one night the two shared in high school when she told him she had lung cancer.
I remember she called me and she was crying, and I couldn't figure out what she was crying for. And then, you know, she finally told me, and I remember I just put my head down. I was real sad.
Going through that as a young kid, what was that like?
Just to see her body get weaker and weaker, it was probably one of the hardest parts.
Javion made sure he was there for his mother, even though he could have gone anywhere as a highly sought-after recruit. And that's why Troy Athletic Director Paul Reinisch says Ogunyemi chose Siena.
I don't think there was ever a moment in Jay's mind that he could ever picture himself not here or close to his mom.
Javion pictured his mom beating the cancer and watching him play, because there was a point in time where she was getting better. But weeks before Javion would leave for school, his dream was suddenly shattered.
She was up moving for a little while, but then there was like a couple hours where she wasn't really moving. She was just sitting down, and one of my aunt's friends at the time, who was a nurse, when she came in, she like checked her pulse and she realized she didn't have no pulse, and that's kind of just how we found out.
After losing the biggest part of his life, Javion admits he struggled, and Reinisch says he could sense it for several years.
He was hurting here. I mean, you know, everywhere you walk around for him is a reminder of his mom, and that's a hard thing.
He's putting on the greatest front that he's good, but I knew the relationship that they had, and I know deep down inside he's devastated and crushed.
So Ogunyemi felt he needed to escape and transferred to Boston University. But one night this past spring, he received another devastating phone call, this time from his aunt, telling him his cousin, 18-year-old Tyreek Prince, was shot and killed back home.
You've been through this with your mother, and now you find this out.
I think that in life, you know, a lot of tough things happen, but God sets a path for you in life, and you just go with it.
That path led Javion back to Siena.
The fact that I just couldn't get to one of my family members that quick was one of the things that was bothering me a lot.
You could have given up easily. You know, what happened to your mom, what happened to your cousin? Instead, here you are, you're still on the right path.
You know, I think giving up on something is like the easy thing to do in life. To keep striving and try to work for something you want is what's hard to do, and that was the route I decided to take.
Liana, the New York Giants practiced inside today for about 2 hours, despite the fact that they're going to have to play outside in the bitter cold and on the frozen tundra of Green Bay's Lambeau Field. The hot topic today, outside of Odell Beckham Jr., Victor Cruz, and the wide receiving course trip to Miami, was the recent success that the Giants have had against the Packers in the postseason.
They're going for it all. The pass is caught for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
2011 NFC Divisional Playoff game. The New York Giants pulled off its second upset in 4 years over the Green Bay Packers. Of course, the Giants went on in both cases to win the Super Bowl. Big Blue hoping for more of the same this season.
I like this team. Said it all along. We have talented men of integrity. They work hard. They like football.
And they're playing good football, too, having won 9 of its last 11. It all started following the Week 5 loss to the Packers.
I think we've been through some things that throughout the year after that game that has really set the standard and set the focus for this team.
The Packers also didn't start the season out well, but are now the NFL's hottest team, winning its last 6. And quarterback Aaron Rodgers is playing as good as any.
That's the biggest key. I mean, just keeping him contained and keeping him inside the pocket so he doesn't have those chances to escape and look downfield and make those big plays like you do.
But this is why the Giants spent $200 million last offseason on defense, for moments like this. So far, it's been money well spent. The team ranks top 5 in points allowed and are number 1 in red zone defense.
We hit the lottery on character and on integrity, and the guys fit together well.
The G-Men will also have its own veteran quarterback and star playmaker to keep up with Rodgers.
Having a guy like Eli is exactly what you want and exactly what you look for in a team that wants to make a deep run.
You thrive at these pressure situations, knowing that, you know, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
Now the Giants go into Sunday's game as a 4 or 4.5 point underdog, and the good news is, if you're a fan of Big Blue, Eli Manning has won his last 7 playoff games as an underdog, so that could spell well for the New York Giants. Well, what more can be said about Ian Anderson? The kid is as humble as they come. When he got picked on Thursday night, he was clearly happy. His parents were emotional, and he thanked them afterwards, and now he gets to follow in the same footsteps as Hall of Famers Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz. Shenendehowa senior pitcher Ian Anderson waited just 24 minutes for the best announcement of his life.
With the 3rd selection in the 2016 MLB Draft, the Atlanta Braves select Ian Anderson, the right-handed pitcher from Shenendehowa High School in Clifton Park, New York.
It's just something that you dream about, and to see it finally, come true, and probably even better than I dreamed about, it's special.
Anderson says he knew about 25 minutes before the draft the Braves would take him, and that Atlanta's always been interested, but it picked up after he threw 16 strikeouts in the state regional last weekend.
And my friend, you come front and center. So move over just a touch so you'll see some Braves.
And because Ian was taken 3rd overall, he's now the highest draft pick in Section 2 history, something he says he's extremely proud of.
It just goes to show you how good the baseball is in Section 2 and how much better it's even getting.
It's wonderful. I'm so excited for him.
I know parents just want to see their kids' dreams come true, and your kid just had his dream come true. I mean, what does that mean to you guys?
He's worked so hard to get here, and to see this happen tonight and unfold like this, it was just incredible.
I'm really looking forward to watching him go forward.
I know you grew up a Red Sox fan, but did you have an NL East team, or were the Braves ever like a favorite of yours?
Not really, no. But I mean, I guess now they're my favorite team. I think you have to say that. So I'm excited.
And so Ian says he's going to enjoy this today, but then he's got to get ready to play another baseball game at the high school level, as Shen will play in the state semis on Saturday at Binghamton University. One more thing, he says he's glad he got to share this moment with his twin brother Ben, and he says he would not be surprised if his name gets called in the MLB draft. In Secaucus, New Jersey, Josh Rultenberg, News 10, ABC.
Taking a look at what's on Rolt's radar this morning, and I asked the question, what is the price at winning? At what expense are we willing to sacrifice what's right for what's wrong just for the sake of a victory? Reason I ask is because one professional sports team is considering lowering its moral code in exchange for a chance at a few more wins. The Washington Redskins lost one of their best defensive players on Sunday, Junior Gillette, to a torn Achilles injury. And to replace him, the team, who already has plenty of PR issues with just their name, is thinking of adding a guy who was convicted of domestic violence. Greg Hardy, who in 2014 threw his ex-girlfriend against the tile bathroom wall, tossed her on a futon covered in assault rifles, and choked her until she told me, quote, "Kill me so I don't have to," is on the Redskins' radar as a replacement for Gillette. Now, a year and a half after Hardy was arrested and charged, his charges were dismissed on appeal, but it still doesn't change the fact that he did something so heinous and graphic we can't show you on this broadcast. Now, Hardy, after a Pro Bowl 2013 season, missed all of 2014 with pay as his case was playing out. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys gave Hardy a shot for some reason. He only had 6 sacks. Not quite the all-star he once was. So my question again is, what is the price of winning? Are the Redskins really going to give a guy who not only beat a woman to a pulp, who's clearly in decline, a contract on the chance they may win a few games? Let's certainly hope not. That's what's on Rolt's radar. Back to you. Hey, I'm Josh Rultenberg. There's only 5 days left in the year, and one team who can't wait to get it over with, the Albany Devils. The Devils just 4-6 in the month of December. However, despite the lack of success, Albany just 2 points back of Syracuse in the North Division. The Devils seeking its 4th win in its last 5 against the Providence Bruins tonight at home. Second period, no score. Max Novak, the former Union Dutchman, shorthanded. It's 1-0 Albany. Go to the third, down 2-1. Brian Gibbons, his 8th, ties the game at 2, but Providence would be too much. Tommy Cross puts it in. The Bruins win 4-2.
It would have been nice to get 2 points here at home, right after holidays, but we got a 3-3 this weekend, so got to learn from some mistakes we made in this game, and then I get right back at it.
The Devils host Toronto Friday before closing out 2016 in Hartford. On the high school ice tonight, there was the Mohawks hockey tournament at Union's Mesa Rink. LaSalle taking down West Seneca 5-0 to get to 7-0-2 on the year. Kyle Rentz pitching a shutout. Kevin Manello scoring 2 of the Cadets' 5 goals. Now, it's been at least 4 days since either the Siena men or the women's basketball teams have played a game, yet that's not the only thing the two have in common. Neither have a road win this season. Now, the women are going to have a chance to fix that come Wednesday when they head to Northeastern. Allie Jackson's squad 0-5 away from its home court. Yet if there's any good news, Jax feels the women are coming off its second best effort of the season, even though they lost Wednesday against Hartford at home. Now, Siena battled back from 13 down in the second half to cut it to 3 before ultimately falling short. And Jax says she knows why her team keeps losing, but knows how to fix it.
It seems with our team that every game, there's a few reoccurring themes, whether it's rebounding, whether it's turnovers, or whether it's defending the ball and keeping people in front. The day that we can stop making those mistakes, I think we're going to be okay, and we're going to see the results we want to see.
Tip-off Wednesday between the Saints and Huskies is set for 2. Jimmer Fredette's goal this offseason was to find a permanent landing spot with an NBA team, but when that didn't happen, Fredette decided to take his talents overseas to China. Turns out, it was a good move for the Glens Falls native. On Sunday, Jimmer was informed he was selected to play in the Chinese Basketball Association's All-Star Game on January 8th. The contest pits the North against the South Stars. Fredette posted on Facebook he would be representing the South team. He also said he was very excited for the opportunity, wanted to thank the fans who voted him in. Jimmer is averaging a league-high 39.1 points per game over there for the Shanghai Sharks, who are owned by NBA Hall of Famer Yao Ming. Now, the New York Jets were flattened by 38 Saturday at the hands of the New England Patriots. However, that's not the worst news to come out of the weekend for the organization moving forward. The Jets announcing today they've placed Bryce Petty on injured reserve. The second-year quarterback suffered a torn labrum in his left shoulder on this play Saturday against the Patriots. Petty made 4 starts and 5 appearances this season, throwing 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. But with Geno Smith on IR already, the Jets are going to have Ryan Fitzpatrick start and rookie Christian Hackenberg as options for Sunday's game against the Bills. RPI grad Andrew Franks, he'll be playing in the playoffs in the NFL. He and the Miami Dolphins have the Kansas City Chiefs to thank for that. The Chiefs beat the Broncos last night, eliminating the Super Bowl champs. On Saturday, Franks had a career day, kicking a personal best 55-yard field goal to send the Miami-Buffalo game into overtime. Then he hit that second-ever game-winning field goal to give the Dolphins the win. Now, I just brought up the Chiefs a second ago, and you got to check this out. Some people say Santa Claus isn't real, but you tell me. Large man wearing red, delivering a present through the air on Christmas. Definition. In last night's Chief Broncos game, 346-pound Dontari Poe threw a touchdown pass. That's right. It was also the first time a primary defensive player threw one since Cohoes native Tom Myers did it back in 1981 for the Saints. Chiefs coach Andy Reid called the play, quote, a bloated Tebow pass after Tim Tebow first ran the play in college of Florida. Here's more from Reid this morning.
You know, as a lineman, you always kind of dream of that right there. So why not? I've got 51% of the vote, so I just came up with it. And that's the first spiral he's thrown on that, too. And so he really did a nice job. He elevated more than 4 inches off of the ground to throw it. It was beautiful.
I bet if we took a ruler, he would not have gotten 4 inches off the ground. But
well, he jumped at least.
He definitely tried, and to get 346 pounds off the ground, that's a lot of effort. Yeah,
takes a lot.
I didn't know Santa was a football player.
Yeah, you do now.
To me.
How about Andrew Franks?
That's right.
2 pressure kicks.
Big time. Yeah. RPI.
Knew he had the talent coming out of college, too.
No doubt about it.
Time now for sports. You and I were watching hockey together, Josh.
Certainly were, John. Let's talk about it. Rick Bennett said the Union men's hockey team's loss to North Dakota Saturday was like watching men against Pee-wees. And the Dutchmen were far from being as good as they think they are. But tonight, Union hoping to turn in a better performance against Boston. This is the 4th straight game the Dutchmen facing a top 15 team. Second period, game tied at 2. Union on the power play. Sebastian Vidmar in front with the one-timer. Dutchmen up 3-2. They would have a 4-3 lead until this goal from Jacob Forsbacka Carlson. His second of the night sends the game to overtime. And in the extra frame, they call him JFK for short. He circles the D. Not one shot, but the second shot goes. His hat trick, the game winner. Union has now dropped 2 in a row. They now have a week off before hosting Dartmouth next Friday. In the AHL, 3 players with local connections going to be suiting up in the league's All-Star game January 30th. From the Albany Devils, Joe Blandisi and John Quenneville, as well as former Union goaltender Troy Grosnick, who now plays for the San Jose Barracudas. Quenneville leads the Devils in scoring. Blandisi ranks 4th on the team. And in net, Grosnick leads the entire league with 5 shutouts and is 3rd in saves percentage. The Albany men's basketball team opening up America East play tonight on the road at UMass Lowell. Coming in, the Great Danes had won its last 6 conference openers. Less than 6 seconds left in the half. David Nichols stepped back, count it. He scored 13 of his 19 in the first half. UA up 1 at the break. Second half, Danes up 2. The Scotia-born Joe Cremo, game high 23. But UAlbany was down 2 under a minute to go. A play drawn up for Cremo. He's going to get a healthy look, but it clanks off the rim. The Riverhawks take advantage on the other end. Matt Harris drives baseline. UMass Lowell downs UAlbany 85-79. The Danes will head to Stony Brook next for an afternoon bout with the Seawolves. Now to UAlbany's crosstown rival. And in any sport, if you're not having fun, then you're not going to win. That's what senior guard Marquise Wright said today after the Siena men's basketball team dropped its 4th straight and 11th consecutive on the road last night. The Saints were down 1 under a minute left with a chance to take the lead, but couldn't convert on 1 of 10 layups they missed. The loss dropped Siena to 4-11 on the year, but more importantly, down to 1-3 in the MAC. Head coach Jimmy Patso says he's still staying positive, calling himself the eternal optimist. The guys just have to focus a little bit better in critical situations and stop overthinking.
You have to keep it in perspective, and you have to figure out, let's just turn the corner. Winning's a great deodorant. If we win a couple games, let's see how we feel. Let's see how we play. Maybe the shots start going.
We're not going to give up. We just got to find that turning point and we just got to go with it. Get together as a team and just say we're going to win this game.
It definitely has to come from within us, the guys who step on the court and play a lot, because the coaching can put you in situations, but at the end of the day, the players make the plays and they go out and play.
Siena going to have a chance to turn things around Saturday when they host St. Peter's. Meanwhile, the Siena women's basketball team snapped its 7-game losing streak on Monday, and the Saints are crediting the return of Margot Hetzke. In her 3rd game back after missing an entire year with concussion symptoms and a hip surgery, the junior forward poured in 11 points and 8 rebounds off the bench in the win. But while we can see Hetzke's contributions on the stat sheet, head coach Allie Jackson and other players see a different way her presence is being felt.
If you have spent any time with Margot Hetzke, you understand the positive, radiant personality that she has. Sometimes having a player with that level of confidence and poise and personality can just take a lot of the pressure and the stress off.
You know, whether my hip is feeling bad or whether it's feeling good, that's something that you can bring. You can't necessarily make every shot when you've been out for a year, or I didn't know what production was going to look like otherwise, so that was definitely my focus.
Moving forward, the women are heading into the gauntlet. That's what Coach Jacks called her team's upcoming schedule, featuring 4 games in the next week, beginning with Fairfield tomorrow. The Saints have already played and beat the Stags this season, winning by 15 a little over a month ago. However, Siena has lost its last 10 road games going back to last season.
Look at the schedule, it's crazy, but we don't have a choice. So we're going to take it as a challenge head on. The more bodies, the deeper we can play, the better we're going to be.
Coming in, I think if we are able to get one on the road against a strong Fairfield team, I think that's going to be an even bigger confidence booster for us.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you can get a player that's a major contributor back, who was the rookie of the year a couple years ago, that's obviously going to go a long way. Siena should take off from here.
Let's hope.
All right. Thanks, Josh.